You're watching KSL Sports Live.
Football fans, this is the place to be to wrap up your Saturday night right here on KSL Sports Live. The Utes, they're trying to end a losing streak. The Aggies, they're piling it on against Hawaii. State championships being won in high school football, and we even show you the latest performance from BYU Hoops phenom Egor Demin and the Utah Jazz in California taking on the Kings. But we're going to start you off down in Provo, where the BYU Cougars, they're trying to start their season with that 10th straight win for just the 4th time in school history. Fresh off their dramatic comeback win against Utah last week, the Cougars, they welcome in a team that seems to have things figured out at just the right time in the year. The Kansas Jayhawks exploded for 45 points last week in an upset win against 17th-ranked Iowa State. And the Jayhawks opened the game by going 84 yards on 10 plays. Devin Neal with the touchdown run to give Kansas the 7-0 lead. BYU's first possession, Jake Retzloff deep to Keelan Marion. Marion can't see the ball. Miscommunication there. BYU would end up punting. Cougars do get the ball back, and they go back to the air. Retzloff deep to a wide-open Darius Lassiter, but Retzloff overthrows him. That would have been a touchdown. If the pass game isn't working out, though, hit the ground. L.J. Martin, Hinkley Rapati, Sione Moa, they combined for 51 yards on that drive, got them into the red zone by the end of the quarter. The drive carries into the second quarter, but BYU not able to punch it into the end zone. It ends in a field goal, which cuts the lead to 7-3. BYU's defense forces a 3-and-out. The Cougars get cooking. Jake Retzloff to Hinkley Rapati on the wheel route. 30-yard touchdown gives BYU the lead 10-7. Kansas gets a field goal to tie it up, but Retzloff gets the Cougars moving again. He's going to complete 3 passes for 48 yards. This last one to Mata'ava Ta'ase down to the 5-yard line. Very next play, going for the end zone. Picked off. The game goes to halftime, tied at 10. So BYU opens the second half with the football. A very methodical drive got them to midfield. 4th and 1 at the Kansas 42. L.J. Martin converts on the ground. That keeps the drive going. But when BYU was facing a 4th and 3 inside the 20, they chose the points. Will Farron for the 13-10 lead on BYU's only possession of the quarter. In the fourth quarter, Kansas lines up on 4th and 14 as if they're going to go for it. But Jalen Daniels kicks the pooch punt, and watch. The ball bounces off of a BYU player who didn't expect it. Kansas recovers at the 3-yard line. Devin Neal scores on the very next play for the 17-13 lead, and that is where we stand currently in the fourth quarter of play. All right, only once before this season in Kyle Whittingham's 20 years as Utah's head coach has he lost 5 games in a row. That was in 2013. In that year, the Utes' skid came to an end with a season-ending win over Colorado. Could they repeat that history today? They were taking on CU in Boulder. Reports that Isaac Wilson would be out today with an illness, but he was well enough to lead them out of the tunnel and resume his role as the starting QB. But if Utah wants to beat the Buffs, they need big plays from their defense, and on the very first play of the game, they get one. Lander Barton with the interception off of Shadur Sanders. But the offense was slow to get going. Wilson gets sacked on 3rd and goal. Utah settles for the field goal and a 3-0 lead on the next Buffs possession. The Utes defense not able to stop this. Sanders to Will Shepard. Look at this catch. Elijah Davis had no chance. 40-yard touchdown, 7-3 Buffs lead. Then on the next Utah possession, they punt the ball away. LeJante Wester just makes it look so easy. 76-yard return to go up 14-3. In the second quarter, Utah's defense helped set the table for the offense again. Sanders muffs the snap. Junior Tafuna recovers. That would lead to another field goal, but no first half touchdowns for the Utes. They trail 21-9 after 1 half of play. Second half doesn't start so well for Utah. On their first possession, Isaac Wilson throwing his second interception of the game. The Buffs would score for a 28-9 lead. And then we see a spark. Wilson deep to Dorian Singer. Singer beating the Heisman Trophy favorite, Travis Hunter, for the 40-yard touchdown. Then in the fourth quarter, Wilson would complete 7 of 7 passes on this drive, and it ends with this. A touchdown toss to Caleb Lohner, his 4th catch of the year, his 4th touchdown of the year. Utah had just taken the ball away on a fumble recovery, down 11, when this happens. Wilson, 3rd interception of the game. That would be it. Utah loses badly, 49-24. The Utes' first 6-game skid in 22 years.
As bad as things are, still 2 games away from a bowl bid. I mean, that's something right there that, our guys, first of all, they're together. They work hard. There's, no lack of preparation Monday through Friday. They're focused. We just can't find a win.
What a day for the Utah State Aggies at home against Hawaii. The game's opening drive really got them in a groove. Spencer Petras deep to Adotia. 41-yard touchdown at 7-0. The Aggies defense played a huge role today as well. Jordan Vincent going to pick this off. He had 2 interceptions in the game. Utah State's defense had 5 interceptions. That Vincent pick that we just saw led to this. Petras throwing another touchdown to Will Money. Utah State up 17-0. All right, we jumped to the third quarter. Razul Faison was unstoppable. Up the gut, 37-yard touchdown run, giving Utah State a 31-3 lead on the very next possession. This is a repeat. Faison from 37 yards away again. He finished with 191 yards rushing in the 2 scores. The Aggies roll 55-10, their 3rd win of the year. Southern Utah at 24th ranked Central Arkansas in FCS football, tied at 21 in the second half. The shovel pass to Joshua Accord. He goes in for the lead, 28-21. That lead would hold thanks to multiple key takeaways. Raymond Crump with the game-sealing pick late in the 4th. Southern Utah gets the upset on the road, 38-31. Weber State visiting the Idaho Vandals. Second quarter, Wildcats down 7-0. Richie Munoz on the play-action fake. He's going to find Keon Need. That ties the game up. End of the half, Munoz is going to sneak it in to give Weber the lead, 14-10. But the second half didn't go well. Idaho outscored Weber 21-10 in the second half, and Weber State falls short by a touchdown. Well, it's still super early in college basketball season, but did you know that never before in BYU sports history has the basketball team started 4-0 while the football team was off to a 9-0 start? The Cougars able to do that this afternoon with a win at the Marriott Center against the Idaho Vandals. In the second half, BYU was only up by 4, but this dunk seemed to light a fire under the Cougars. Cannon Catchings for the 51-45 lead. Richie Saunders had a big game, too. He made 10 of 15 shots for 26 points. He also had 4 rebounds, 4 steals, and 3 blocks in the game. Husseini Traore was the star in this one. He made his first 9 shots. He finished the night 10 of 11 shooting, a game-high 29 points and 9 rebounds, 2 of them from this flashy pass by Igor Deming. Deming with 16 points, 7 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. BYU wins by 24. On Thursday night, the Utah Jazz gave their fans something they haven't experienced yet so far this season, a win at Delta Center. Now back on the road for the next 4 games. The Jazz playing the first of 3 in a row in California. Tonight, it's the Kings in front of them. Second quarter, it's the rookie Kyle Filipowski. Continues to blossom at the NBA level. Flushes one right on Alex Len's face. Then in the fourth quarter, it's tied at 107. Jordan Clarkson to Colin Sexton. 3 ball. The Jazz take the lead. A minute to play. Jazz holding on to a 1-point lead. Jordan McLaughlin. He's going to drill the corner 3. The Kings would not lose the lead again. Light the beam. De'Aaron Fox follows up his 60 points last night with 49 tonight. Jazz fall by 4. Only the best teams in the state of Utah get to play their high school football games at Rice-Eccles Stadium. And this week, 12 teams were there playing in their respective semifinals. We'll have those highlights on the way and a special delivery for the state championship games in the lower classifications today down in Cedar City. Those highlights are on the way. And we'll recap it all with the ever so exciting Game Night Live highlight reel coming up.
KSL Sports presentation. Game Night Live kicks off now. Sponsored by UCCU.
Yeah, we've got that championship kind of feeling going on this weekend, and we'll show you who's lifting up those trophies right now here on Game Night Live. The lower classification championship games, those were being played on the campus of Southern Utah University today. We start in Class 3A, Richfield taking on Morgan. Richfield's defense has Morgan pinned in their end zone. Pressure causing the safety on the intentional grounding, but that would be all for Richfield. Morgan's Beck Sheffield hitting a wide-open Lincoln Gilson. Morgan, your 3A state champs, once again a 13-2 win. In the 2A championship game, we had Emory and the powerhouse San Juan. The Broncos score fast and score often. 21. Jaeger Neves busts out a 41-yard run for his 3rd touchdown of the game. San Juan's up 35-0 at half. San Juan's Jayton Knight with 4 total touchdowns. This pass to Javen Montella makes it 42-7. San Juan is your 2A state champions once again. The 1A final featuring Emory and Beaver. Beaver scoring on offense, special teams, and defense. Here at the end of the first half, Beaver with the sack. Maverick Albrecht is going to take the fumble all the way to the house for 6. Beaver back-to-back state titles. They've won so many. The 43-22 win over Kanab. How about the 8-player football championships? A rematch from last year. Monticello and Rich. 1 minute into the game, Carter Hoffman on the jet sweep. A 59-yard run. And the Rich Rebels are on the board first. Rich would go on to take down Monticello 50-14 to win back-to-back state titles. The upper classifications took their playoff games to Rice-Eccles Stadium, which of course means it is time now for the semifinal matchups. And in 6A, top-seeded Corner Canyon was taking on Lehigh, a game that went to overtime, tie at 28. Corner Canyon had the first overtime possession, and they score. King Cooper, 11-yard touchdown run to go up 35-28. Lehigh would then find the end zone. Mr. Reliable, Legend Glasker, his 4th touchdown of the game. So Lehigh just needs the extra point to send it to double overtime.
And this isn't over, folks. They've missed some PATs in this game.
They've already missed 2, so hold on to your butt. Here we go.
Oh, and he missed
It's no good! Corner Canyon wins!
No!
Oh, my goodness, that's a tough one. Off the upright, a heartbreaker for Lehigh at Rice-Eccles. Jubilation for Corner Canyon. They are headed back to the state championship game. So who do they face? In the other 6A semifinal, Lone Peak was taking on Sky Ridge. In the first quarter, Lone Peak quarterback Kepanio Metolo scrambling right, goes 7 yards for the pylon, 14-7 Lone Peak lead. Just before the half, Sky Ridge finds a score on this pass from Keneal Sweetwine to Adam Warren. Wide open, touchdown. But Neil Metolu would throw this second half touchdown, and Lone Peak started to hold on from there to get the win. They go on to the state finals. The 6A the 6A championship game is a rematch. Put 2 familiar foes against each other, Lone Peak and Corner Canyon. The 2 met back on August 30th when Corner Canyon was ranked top 10 in the nation. Lone Peak built a 28-7 halftime lead, and that lead would hold on for the 7-point win. Lone Peak and Corner Canyon, they also met in the state championship game in 2021. That was a Lone Peak win, 49-42. In the 5A semifinal, it was a thriller between top-seeded Roy, considered an underdog, against the defending champion Timpview Thunderbirds. Back-to-back days of high school football at Rice-Eccles Stadium, and that's where we head for the second day of semifinal matchups. This one between Timpview and Roy. Timpview getting into the end zone. Roy's got a big kicker, though. Late third quarter. 58-yard field goal. Then the deep ball for the touchdown. Roy gets the win 29-19. They are headed back to the state championship game for the first time since 1981. In the second 5A semifinal, it was 3 versus 2. Brighton and Bountiful. Bountiful, the first to get into the end zone. Siaki Fekitoa with the 12-yard touchdown for the early 7-0 lead. Then in the third quarter, Bountiful's lead is growing. Brock McSwain back to return the punt. Hits those sidelines with a whole bunch of steam. A 62-yard touchdown made it 21-0. And Bountiful is going to go back to the state championship game where they fell just short last year against Timpview. You might remember the state championship game. This will be a Region 5 rematch between Roy and Bountiful. They went head-to-head back on October 10th. Roy took a 28-14 lead in the first half before Bountiful scored twice in the final 50 seconds of the half to tie it up at 28. Robert Young had a passing touchdown, receiving touchdown, kick return touchdown, and 2 rushing touchdowns in the game. That, his 5th touchdown, gave Roy the 35-28 lead, but Bountiful scored twice in the fourth quarter to give Roy its only loss of the season. I cannot wait for that matchup at Rice-Eccles on Thursday. All right, Ridgeline entered the semifinals 12-0 on the season. They put their undefeated season to the test against Spanish Fork in the semifinals. It was the first 4A semifinal game between the #1 undefeated Ridgeline and Spanish Fork. Second quarter, JT White scoring on a 6-yard run to give Ridgeline a 14-7 lead, but with 23 seconds left in the game, tied at 14, that Spanish Fork's Brock Jacobson just trucking his way into the end zone, and that would be the game winner. Spanish Fork with the upset. They will face the winner between Skyview and Crimson Cliffs, which was the other semifinal game. Crimson Cliffs taking a 10-game win streak into Rice-Eccles Stadium. Malachi Olafipo had a huge game for the Mustangs, had 3 first-quarter touchdown catches from 54 yards, 67 yards, and 35 yards. And Crimson Cliffs look to be running away with it, 21-7, but Skyview has a comeback in them. Jack Clark to Liam Guthrie, 7-yard touchdown. They're down 28-23 going into the fourth quarter. Clark to Lincoln Ballard, a 30-yard touchdown. They would miss the 2-point try, so Skyview's down 31-20 now. 29, but then McCord Christiansen would put the game away for Crimson Cliffs. A 47-yard touchdown run, and Crimson Cliffs is headed to the state title game once again. See the best from Rice-Eccles and the high school football semifinals this weekend, all mashed together with some music in the Game Night Live highlight reel coming up next. School football semifinal games at Rice-Eccles Stadium this past week. The action, the drama, all the excitement is now all jammed and meshed together and cooked up in this week's highlight reel.
This to keep the game alive.
Oh, and it
It's
makes
no
it.
good! Coder Canyon wins!
Life to the game, more dead in it. They ain't touching the record, don't sell it, bitch. I done locked up the game like a felony. All my dog coming with me, that Rico, we charge up the city like Tesla. I ain't do it for the fame, I just did it for the reins. Holy winner in my veins, only platinum, gold, and diamonds my name.
Low Peaks going back to the 6A state championship game.
Feel like the best, I'll admit it. Catch a body, anybody can get it. They want the shoes, but I don't think they can fit it. Try to doubt me, now I'm really offended. Got the trophy, now it's really our city. So many rings. Yeah. So many rings.
He's got the distance.
Good!
It's good!
Oh, man.
From 58 yards. Battle for Red Hawks, and we'll move on and play for a state championship. Spanish Fork Dons pull off the upset. They stun #1 Ridgeline.
So many rings, it look like my whole hand made of ice. Back to back trips, dog, I'm nothing they like. Feel like the greatest, I step in the light. Whoever the odd, gon' opt by the life. Fixated, mine on that ring, I've been fixated. I control the whole game, I'm a dictator.
I mean, it's a blessing that we've been able to go to 3 state championships in a row, and I can't wait for next Thursday.
Nigga, real P. I'm
I want to download the new KSL Sports app. If you haven't already, you get a lot of cool content on there. You can get your updates on all your BYU, Utah, Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, but also you get to watch for free the KSL Sports Live broadcasts of the state championship football games on Thursday. The 4A, the 5A, and the 6A state championship games. Get your app before those games. We'll see you tomorrow night.